Hey you, are you wasting your time on social media again? Your brothers and sisters in Islam Net from Norway are establishing a masjid, a dawah center. Establishing a masjid to convey the message of Islam is one of the best deeds a Muslim can do. There's a huge need for it in Norway. You know this and I know this. So that makes the reward even greater. So give generously and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even more. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? And I'm joined once again
by someone who's not on the Epstein files. You know, somebody put out a message going, at this point, we just need to be asking who's not on the list.
Yes.
Because bloody every one of these guys is on the list. And they've been doing some mad stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the people that have been on the list is
it's your best friend, isn't it?
The electric car salesman, actually. His name is Elon Musk, whose father's an incestuous man. As we know, he's dealt with his stepdaughter in a manner that is unbefitting and unbecoming of any human being. And his son is a transgender. And of course, sexual dysfunction runs in the family because this one here,
madness.
He wanted to let loose and go wild on the island where the underage were being abused.
You know the biggest irony of all? It was because of him, he reignited this whole grooming debate in the UK as well.
He's the bastard that...
You know what?
He's the one that came out and for months on end...
You know what I mean?
Was the torchbearer for anti-Islamic grooming gangs, as he called it. And he was involved
in the biggest grooming gang on the planet.
For the last 100 years.
Absolutely.
We didn't intend to make that synchronize.
We didn't.
It's actually, wow. Great minds. And your mind as how that happened. But look, I mean, it's last week on Twitter, I was being attacked. And this week on Twitter, I'm doing the attacking.
You're doing the attacking, yeah. Look at the nizam, you know.
I made dua against him last week, this bastard.
Clearly,
I knew that this is the man who, subhanallah, like, you know, he's the one who altered the algorithm to make it like that. But there was other things on the Epstein files.
He's manipulated the algorithm to such a degree that there are entire countries thinking, how on earth and what on earth do we do to take away his influence? The UK has been affected very profoundly because he's been clearly funding, supporting, promoting Tommy Robinson.
He has.
And then Tommy Robinson in turn has been promoting certain people at Speaker's Corner.
Well, he's cheap and at any price, according to according to him, according to the Epstein files.
Absolutely.
Cheap and at any price, like a scrounger.
Yeah, Epstein and Steve Bannon, they were talking with each other.
Like a prostitute, actually.
Well,
cheap and at any price.
Yes, and he's supposed to be, what did they say? He's the backbone.
He's the backbone. He's the Chav escort services for the elites. The Chav escort services. That's what he's doing. He's any price, you know, highest bidder. A person with no principles. But it shows you, all of these people are on the Epstein files. I promise you, وَمَا خُفِيَ أَعْظَمْ, actually what's hidden is more. You know, there's going to be more stuff that's going to be revealed about these people. Videos are going to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, pictures are going to come out. We've already seen Elon Musk's Cybertruck type body.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if we see it again. You know, and now he's scrambling all over the place on Twitter and social media on his own platform.
Yeah.
On his own platform.
It's like, you know, there's a few of these guys that they have had a very dodgy past and they are trying to find shelter with the far right, the right wing. One example, Donald Trump.
Yes.
You saw him do a complete U-turn and try to acquiesce to the far right. Russell Brand. He acquiesced.
Was he on the files?
I don't know. But with him,
he has his own controversies.
He had his own controversies, and you know they came out in the UK media.
The far right is a great place for people with sexual misconduct allegations, or who have actually perpetrated sexual misconduct. It's a safe haven for that.
And then in turn for them, the safe haven is Tel Aviv.
The far right is the far right is a grooming gang now.
Absolutely, yeah.
It has just, and that's the irony of the mother of all ironies, is that the far right, the greatest proponents and the loudest voices of the far right, have become recognized now as linked to, associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And I always wonder, why didn't they call him a Jewish grooming gang or a trafficker, a Jewish trafficker. You know, he was of Jewish ancestry. I think, was a Jew religiously. You know, his friend was a Jew, that Ghislaine Maxwell as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, Jewish. She's Jewish. Even if you go on the Epstein files and you look for the word goy or goyim, it's everyday vernacular in the Epstein files. And even when you've got the Israelis themselves, there's a former Israeli intelligence officer called Ḥarī Minash.
Yes.
He admitted it as well. He's like, yes, it's been weaponized by Israel. You've heard the term compromat, using pictures and using information to blackmail, for political purposes. This is something people should know.
Yes.
And they're openly admitting that this is a project of Israel as compromat for many politicians here in the West. You've got Bill Gates isn't a politician, but he's in there. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Elon Musk,
Jay-Z. I'm surprised he didn't go to Diddy's one.
Diddy was doing his own thing, innit?
Yeah, he was in the competitor.
Absolutely. Coke and Pepsi.
That's why he's not on the files. He had his own thing going on. He was offended. He was offended that there was a competitor.
He had his own files, wasn't it?
Yes, the Diddy files.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Elon Musk is probably on those as well, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised. Even
that's why he was putting all these memes on stuff like that about Diddy. And that was a week ago he was putting the memes. And now this week, it's emerged that he's part of the Epstein files.
Yeah.
He's the same guy who put up a thing saying that Donald Trump is on the Epstein files. Okay, but he's now on the Epstein files. So what you've got to say about that?
And even if you look strategically when it comes to politics, a lot of people are saying maybe Trump hasn't acquiesced to bombing Iran as quickly as they wanted him to. And that's why this has been kind of put forward. Why is it that any time the American politicians and the higher-ups get any chance, they're always saying, Israel, Israel, Israel. I thought it was make America great again.
That's right. And do you know what else I found interesting talking about making countries great again? There was a document in the Epstein files that was talking about Turkey. And just a month ago, I think maybe 6 weeks ago, I can't remember when exactly I went, but I went to Turkey, and maybe it was more than that actually. And I made this point to the Turkish audience that doing dawah in Turkey, in Istanbul, in Ankara, and the places where it really matters, is not just important as a matter of spreading Islam, but it's actually politically important. And one of the most important revelations, I would say, for us as conservative Muslims that came out of the Epstein files was that they were making a deal out of the conservative strand of Islam, or conservative Islam, becoming a bigger thing now in Turkey. So they've recognized that there's been a change in Turkey for the better, and they don't want that to continue, which shows us the importance of dawah, because these are the elites in the society, essentially talking about what matters most. They spoke about the Epstein. They even spoke about Lawrence Krauss. Hamza's also had a debate with him, and it was the most watched debate in English-speaking language, atheist Muslim debate in history. I think I don't think there's been one like it, formal debate. And that debate, Krauss was in the Epstein files, essentially saying something like, I've got a lot of people to apostate from Islam. So they're all working for the same cause, you can see.
Wasn't he the one that said that it's okay for you to have intercourse with your brother or sister if you're using protection?
It fits in the hand of the glove with the policies of Epstein and Elon Musk's family tradition. Actually.
Yeah. And in fact, even you mentioned Lawrence Krauss. Yes. Richard Dawkins was pictured with Epstein.
Yes.
Even Stephen Hawking.
What was he going to be doing?
Even I thought
he was an impotent man.
Well, apparently not. He had he's surrounded by women, and apparently he was going. But these are the same people saying that there is no God. These are the same people saying that we can derive our own morality, and we don't need God, and God is dead, and we are just chemical scum. Stephen Hawking, he said we are chemical scum, orbiting a standard planet in a standard solar system. It's not a big deal.
Yes. But I think, bro, on that point, if you look at who is on that list, it's a mixture of anti-Islam people, people who are working politically against Islam, socially against Islam, etc., etc., etc. You don't really find there is no conservative Muslims who are promoting conservative Islamic causes that are on that list. Alhamdulillah, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, these people always talk about like how many Nobel Prize winners do we have. We may not be on the Nobel Prize winners list that's selected by the elites, but we're also not on lists like this, which is a great thing as well, right? Having said that, look, it shows us that without religion, without firm belief in the purpose of life, which is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the elites, their best guys, the guys who are meant to be their smartest, the guys that are meant to be their cleverest, the guys that are meant to be their most successful financially, technologically, politically, and otherwise, those guys are actually the most hedonistic, the most depraved, the most unprincipled, the most barbaric, the most, repugnant. I can't even imagine, to be honest. I find it untenable that these people who, like Trump and Musk, didn't know that there were underage people there being abused and trafficked. I find that incredulous.
Yeah.
How could it be that this island was designed for that purpose? And you're such a clever man, you created this rocket here that you're bragging about in the Epstein files. You're the president of the United States, or then became a president of the United States. You're this, you're that, you guys are all this. And you haven't done due diligence on this particular island.
It's nonsense.
And you didn't hear any rumors of there being, and this guy was like, for example, in the discussion with Elon Musk, in the email discussion, the Epstein was making a point about how young the subjects were.
Yeah.
They're all under a certain age. I can't remember what age it was. So clearly there's an emphasis on youth. There's an emphasis on the young people that he's bringing into the island, etc. So how could that not be a red flag for someone who, and he wants to go and let loose there. He does, Musk, just like his father let loose on his sister, whatever it was that he let loose on.
I mean, the one that
his own daughter.
The one that I saw, he was trying to kind of appease Epstein and trying to get on the island, and Epstein wasn't really having it. He was saying, he told his secretary, just tell him I'm busy or something like that. And then she responds by going, Epstein's very busy, and so that was one of the interactions. Obviously, we don't know what happened after that, but that it's just embarrassing. He's trying to chummy up to this individual. He's the one who's supposed to be a genius. How is this genius not able to tell that this is a very nefarious individual that has very negative intentions?
Well, they're all unsavory and unpleasant characters, frankly.
But you know what's interesting is people's reactions to the Epstein files.
Yes.
I saw one of them. One of them reacted by going, gotta admit, Epstein's got aura. Sky News, they actually go, it's not really bad if your name, is on the Epstein files.
Really?
Yeah, and Sky, we know, is owned by Rupert Murdoch, and Rupert Murdoch,
he's probably on the files himself.
You know what I mean?
Is he on the files himself?
I wouldn't be surprised. But his connections with Israel is very strong. His connections with Trump. I mean, he's got his fingers in a lot of pies. And
Yes,
Daily Mail, what did they do? Oh, they blamed Russia. I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable, the reaction that people are having.
Was Putin on the Epstein list?
I don't think so.
That makes it even worse.
Think so.
That makes it
So
even
that
worse.
it goes to show that the people that are like, you got the Norway leader and this and that, all sorts of stuff going on, and they're within the group. But George Carlin made a very, there's a very famous quote of his saying,
"It's a big club, and you ain't in it."
That's basically what Epstein was indicating to Musk. If anything, Musk was showing his begging, he was pleading and groveling at Epstein. And Epstein, he seemed to think that this man was a retarded individual, actually.
Is that what he said?
There was something about him saying about retard, or am I retarded? I don't know who said it to whom, but...
Well, it just shows that Elon Musk has been compensating for a very long time. He bought an entire social media platform. He, let loose this whole, reignited the whole grooming debate, just so when the time came, attention would be taken off him. But it's made no difference. People are taking him to the cleaners on his own very platform.
And it shows you that if you don't have a life with Allah, with the purpose of life as the center of it, an anchorage, a solid anchorage that you can say that you're living for, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what people who you know. It doesn't know what connections you have. It doesn't matter what rocket you think you have invented. He hasn't invented anything actually. It's teams that he's hired. Right. It doesn't matter whatever you think you've done, whatever success you think you've got. You're going to be an empty person, because purpose can only be achieved through the spiritual. It can only be achieved through a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who put human beings in this planet for a purpose, to worship him, and he sent prophets and messengers aforetime, including Abraham and Moses and Jesus and the Prophet Muhammad, the final prophet. If someone believes in that, then they will be saved. If someone believes in that, they will be given happiness in this dunya and in the akhirah, or the hereafter as well, in this world and in the hereafter. You know, and that's what Allah says, that whoever believes in Allah from a man or a woman, لَنُحْيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً, we will make him live a good life.
And you know what the icing on the cake is? That this has now literally, this was the last nail on the coffin of Israel. Israel simply cannot win the PR war. They have incurred so much damage, first with the genocide, and now with the Epstein blackmail files.
And finally, the grooming thing is officially dead now. I mean, imagine Tommy Robinson, the far right, or Elon Musk comes out and talks about Islamic grooming gangs. They can't do it anymore. SubhanAllah, like, do you know what I find? It's always the case, that there are people out there that talk about something so much. It's usually an overcompensation due to a psychological projection, right? So they have their own feeling about something. They're guilty. And every accusation is a confession, right? They're guilty of something and they want to be able, it's like a confession box. So they deflect it on somebody else. This is psychoanalysis 101, right? And in this case, they've used the Muslim community as a scapegoat.
And you know, when the whole grooming thing happened, you can search this up. The headlines that say 500 mosques come together to condemn the grooming cases, and the whole grooming scandal. But he's Jewish. There are...
There's not even one rabbi that's come out.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no mass condemnation of the genocide. There's no mass condemnation of the Epstein files.
And that's why it shows you the strategy should not be defensive. The strategy should be attacking. Like, for example, last week when they did this thing, I did a couple of clarifications and we went back straight on the attack. And that was much better than say I'm defending. I didn't say this and I didn't say that. And they want us to do that. Let's go after them because we have numbers. Muslim people have numbers on social media. We can go after them and we can cause havoc for them. And that's what we're going to do. And with that, we'll conclude. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your brothers and sisters in Islam Net from Norway are establishing a masjid, a dawah center. This center, this masjid, this educational institution will act like a beacon of light, calling the Muslims in Norway back to the essence of Islam. So give generously and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even